Hey everybody, in this video we are going to complete the square. So what that means is we're going to find a value of c here that turns this trinomial into a square trinomial. And a square trinomial is one that when you factor it, you get a binomial times another binomial, but those binomials are identical. So it really factors into a single binomial squared. Okay, now in order to complete the square, a, which is in front of this here, the lead coefficient, must be 1. And in every case here, a is indeed 1, so we can complete the square. So to complete the square, we find c, and c is found by taking b, which here is 24, and I'll just write b, divided by 2, and we square it. Okay, so in this case, it's 24 divided by 2 squared. Now that's 12 squared. And 12 squared is 144. So c is going to be 144. Okay, so as a square trinomial, this would be m squared plus 24m plus 144. Okay? Now, why is that a square trinomial? Because in order to factor it, I would need two numbers that multiply to 144 and add to 24, and those numbers are 12 and 12. So this factors to m plus 12 times m plus 12, which is the same as m plus 12 squared. Okay, so it is a square trinomial because it factors to a binomial squared. Okay, now we are asked to find the value of c. We went farther than that. I'll put a box around that. C is 144. For the next couple that we'll do together, I will just find the value of c and put a box around it. Okay, so here b is -3. So the c here is going to be -3 divided by 2 squared. Okay, now -3 divided by 2, that's not going to be a whole number, so we're just going to leave it just like this. When I square that -3 in the numerator, I get 9. When I square the 2 in the denominator, I get 4. So c will be 9/4. Okay, on this next one, b is 2. So 2 divided by 2 squared, that's 1 squared, which is 1. So c is 1. And then here b is 14. 14 divided by 2 squared, that's 7 squared, which is 49. So c is 49. Okay, now what if b is a fraction? Okay, so here on our next page, we've got b as a fraction, and we will find c by completing the square. Okay, so we've got 6 over 5. 6 over 5, that's b, divided by 2 squared. Okay, now I'm going to put this 2 over 1. So we're really dividing by 2 over 1. Dividing by 2, dividing by 2 over 1, same thing. Okay, so the fastest way, my favorite way to divide fractions is to take an outer loop here and multiply these, and we get 1 times 6 is 6. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So we get 6 over 10 squared. Now let's simplify that. 2 goes into both of these. 3 times and 5 squared. Okay, so now when we square the numerator and denominator, we get c is 3 squared is 9. 5 squared is 25. So c is 9/25. Okay, now, what happened here when we divided this fraction by 2? What actually ended up happening is we simply doubled the denominator. Okay, so we'll do that going forward. So we have b is 9/7 divided by 2 squared. Okay, now over here, when we divided by 2, we eventually just left the numerator the same but doubled the denominator. So let's do that here. 9/14 squared. Okay, now 9 squared is 81, so c is 81 over, and 14 squared is 196. So there's our value of C. Okay, we'll do a couple more here. So we've got -4/7 for B. So -4/7 divided by 2 squared. So that's -4/14. So we just multiply these, double that denominator, squared. Okay, now this one can be simplified, so let's do that. So we have negative, and then 2 goes into both of these, 2/7 squared. Okay, so now we'll square the numerator and the denominator. -2 squared is 4, and 7 squared is 49. And then we have 12/13. So 12/13 divided by 2 squared. So we can double that denominator, and we get 12/26 squared. And 2 goes into 12 and 26. Goes into 12 6 times and 26 13 times. So we have 6/13 squared. So C is 6 squared, 36, over 13 squared, 169.